Hello everyone, welcome to the stream, nice to see you all here. Welcome to the Rings of Power Season 2, Episode 5 watch party that we announced yesterday. And yeah, we still have the analysis stream to continue. We didn't get through the complete episode in 6-something hours. So yeah, it was a bit unfortunate, so we continue that today after the watch party, but the link will be a different one. So the analysis won't be here. I will end the stream then. Post the link to the other stream in chat, and then we continue there. I planned in here for this endeavor for this year 2 hours or so. I currently already started running the timer, so we are at 3 minutes 37, and that's where we will start. I still haven't looked into the script, simply had no time for that. Also, not the energy. Still can't believe that I forgot how this script worked. Whatever, doesn't matter too much, chat. We will have a good time here anyway. So we haven't started yet. Don't worry. It starts in a moment. We just have to get past the preview, what happened last time, and the opening credits. Something like that. Also, yeah, Christiane, welcome. Also, Taco Senpai, nice to see you here as well. I read chat in a moment. I have to catch up a little bit. Here and there. Just see. I can't miss the timer, chat. Revolverator, nice to see you as well. Yeah, a lot of Rings of Power content these days, so there's definitely that. But yeah, slowly getting the timer there, chat. I will come for the discussion later. I don't have time to watch it again now. Okay, no problem, don't worry. What was the timer I said? 3 minutes 37. So we are 10 seconds, chat, then we are there. Sorry for this weird start here. I need to refine my script that I can set it to this time. Okay, we stop it here. That's where we will start. Rosemary, nice to see you. Wait, I've been wondering what the next product will be for the One Ring now that Moria is out. Like I said, I'm not into that particular tabletop RPG thing, but always hearing good things about it. I would like to see a Gondor source book. Yeah, that would be cool, I guess. Sorry, Otaku, don't really follow that at all. Stanley, also welcome. Yeah, it's unfortunate that I don't follow. I wish I could tell you more about it. And yeah, it's very interesting to see Moria then in there, because that, I guess, is always an interesting place. Does it exist? I mean, does the Moria thing, I assume, covers both the time when Moria was still inhabited by dwarves and also the time where it was under the shadow, I would assume. I love Lord of the Rings, but I don't know about this. Rings of Power content is much better than the Rings of Power. Yeah, that's often people say. Though, to be fair, I still feel the Season 2 is better. And I also think that Episode 5 is potentially one of the best episodes so far. For sure, it has its problems still, so it's not, like, in context to really good shows that are available, it might not reach that level. It still has some weird things there, but, well, let's hope that all the chess pieces are now in place, and then 6, 7, 8, so the next 3 episodes, the last 3 episodes of Season 2, it's already over then, will kind of elevate this here quite a bit and can focus on telling the story there without too many weird writing things, I hope. We will see. Oh, so it's abandoned. Could be used for 4th Age game as well. Oh, that's interesting. It's just the abandoned mode, yeah, that's interesting then. I mean, that also offers already enough, I guess, especially in a role-playing scenario, if you have the abandoned Moria. But yeah, it would also maybe be interesting to see the not abandoned Moria. Schnake, nice to see you as well. And yeah, today what we were gonna do, I explain it very quick here as a little introduction. Of course, I can't stream the actual episode on YouTube. So if you wonder about this, that's not allowed. Would get my channel banned. So I'm not going to do that. And as a result, I just show you my time code where I'm in the episode. You have to find your means to watch it. Oh, on Twitch, Twitch is an interesting case. On Twitch, there's a watch party functionality because Twitch is bought by Amazon, and then you can basically watch the show. And basically, if you have Amazon Prime connected to a Twitch account, you could watch the episode on Twitch. I won't stream it, but the episode you would hear my audio and so on, and it would synchronize automatically. That functionality exists, but since I mainly stream this to YouTube because my audience simply is, I'm not using this feature here for the Twitch stuff. So there's that. There's also Aragorn's original investigation of Mordor, which is interesting, or a campaign could be based on Balin's colony. Yeah, I think that's that are put into the big things. Ray, games also welcome. Hope to see Balrog this season. I mean, there was a very short sneak peek of the Balrog last season. I think we will see another one this season, but I don't think he will play much of a role because that would be still a bit... it feels like this episode or the season should focus mainly on the Eregion stuff because that's already quite a bit. And as a result, I don't think there's so much time for this conflict in Moria. Who knows? I just want them to confirm the stranger's identity already. Reveal whatever. Yeah. If it was like a reiteration of the thesis for the show, I think. I mean, it was a show about the rings, and that concept connected me with the episode. Yeah. I guess it was the strongest part, the Eregion and Moria part in this episode. I've come to accept that Rings of Power is an alternative universe. I think that's the best way to look at it. It's a lot less upsetting this way for sure. Yeah, it seems like the stranger might be Gandalf, but we don't know. It could also be a blue wizard. Because I have the theory that he will get the blue cape of Tom Bombadil that we have seen in the background. And then he's a blue wizard. But everything... it makes no sense. From a writing perspective, he must be Gandalf. Because the hints are so strong and the payoff for blue wizard is not strong enough for... The common people in the audience. Nobody knows who the blue wizards are. Tolkien did not write much about them as well. Yeah, that's basically it. We have here a discussion. You can write in chat. We talk over the episode, and you have to find means. I forgot to finish my explanation how this works. So I show the time code, which helps you to synchronize the episode with what I'm currently seeing on my screen as well. And then we just talk together over the episode. I do the talking. And you do the writing, I guess. So we have to find a way to have chat on the stream, at least the audio, available, and watch the episode at the same time. It's kind of like, I don't know, watch with friends or audio commentary in a strange way. Let's see if we have something interesting to say. And then we discuss maybe a bit of the episode again, see what your impressions are. And then we switch to another stream, it's here on this channel, of course, but there will be another link because from a VOD standpoint, I wanted to disconnect the episodes with each other, with these streams with each other. So it's a watch party. After that, we continue the analysis stream. We still have the big invisible ring in Eregion part, a bit of the dwarves, and Numenor we haven't covered at all in the last stream. So I don't know, we discussed a lot of other things, I think it seems, last episode. Find this episode a bit tough to grasp, in a way. It's kind of busy, but also not. It's kind of strange. So yeah, it's currently a bit strange with the stranger's identity, but he was not in this episode. What I heard in an interview, they will reveal it though, who the stranger is. The scene with Disa was a bit scary. Yeah, when suddenly the echo comes back. It was intense, for sure. Okay, chat. I would say without waste too much time here, because we still have to discuss quite a bit of episode. And yeah, I think we should start already. So I hope you are ready. So that means you are ready to press the play button for the episode on your end. And then we see look into this. Give you a countdown of I give you a countdown of course. Countdown from 3 then, and then I press here the play button and start the stream thing as well. So just what is going on in a moment. Let me just see if screen-wise is everything okay. I think it is. You hear my in-game audio. I see audio okay, chat. That's also something I should check really quick. Yeah, audio sounds good. Yeah, Disa's not in the book. There is the sister of Thorin Oakenshield is called Dis. So maybe they no, welcome. I really have to look up always have to look up your name. Don't know what it is with that. But welcome, nice to see you. Glad you could make it. Olexi, I think it is, right? Just have to consult Google for it. Olexi, thank you. So welcome you as well. I also agree with TPH regarding using these elements with a plot element. Yeah. It's just not like you can do this for like a couple of episodes, but not for 2 seasons. That's just nonsense. Because then you can't use this character. And yeah, I hope you are ready, chat. I think we're going to press the play button and watch the episode. Before I do this, I might watch it in German this time. Because that's usually what I do here, just to get, I don't know. I might start randomly talk German in the meantime, but I'm just curious how things are. So maybe I should keep it in English. Whatever. Okay, chat. So I would give you a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Timer has started. I currently am seeing the last piece of credits rolling. So let us see what we can do, chat. I think it's not that easy to keep to the original or to what Tolkien wrote. Also, Mart, welcome. And Ares Aurelian, nice to see as well. So we see the Rings of Power. They look very dwarvish. We talked about this already because they were like from a book perspective, they're all elvish rings, so they should look elvish. Maybe Durin's ring was actually given to Durin. That's what the dwarves believe at the time of Eregion. And then the other rings were later gotten by Sauron, except for the 3 elvish rings, so to say. And those later, after things have cooled down, people have forgotten what happened. He gifted 6 or 7 rings to the dwarves and 9 to men. That's different here in the show. And I understand this because I have to compress it so much. So they have kind of trouble to dig through it. They call it the mountain is unstable. It's kind of the explanation why it's so terrifying for them to do this without the aid of the stone singers. Now, yeah, he got the ring on his hand. Visits the miners. Are these extensions? I'm not sure if he has beard extensions. We talked about this yesterday. Yeah, Dis is the only female dwarf, but yes, Dis does not exist in the books. Narvi exists, Durin the Third exists, Durin the Fourth exists, but not at the time of Durin the Third. Durin the Third and Celebrimbor, of course, Galadriel, Elrond, Gil-galad, and so on. Celeborn and Galadriel's daughter would also exist, but they're not in the show yet. Also Glorfindel. Gonna have to leave. Enjoy the watch party. Thank you, Otaku. See you later then. Keep in mind the other link here for the stream. Maybe I have to. I like his demanding voice here. Remember that. Maybe I can give you the link for the other stream. Oh, that's wrong. Yeah, that will be the other one. No, the dwarf music is good. That will be the analysis stream. Also, if you just joined, we will later do the analysis stream on a different link than this link here. So you have to click on that. I'll post it at the end of the video of the watch party though. The X looks a bit lightweight, like it looks like a prop or something. But he also now, due to the ring that extends his power, his potentially also his physical strength, allows him to dig this. We don't need air, we need light. I also like that Narvi has like in his hands this little bottle, I would call. It's not a bottle though, it's, I don't know, hip flask or something. Like a drinking bottle or whatever. And yeah, now he has found light without collapsing the mountain. And now he shows the miners the places where to dig now, because he can now see kind of what's happening. I mean, the seeing part for the dwarves is a bit interesting because they can't see the unseen, but it's not really an unseen power, it seems. It's usually a bit difficult to say what the rings do. But they enhance the physical or the abilities of its wearer also a bit. You know, the Star Singers are kind of unemployed now. It's a major cultural shift. This is a strange scene. I criticize this a bit, though of course it's played well, and I like that it's there. Boost with magic. The doors of Durin. Yeah, it's the west gate of Moria. I think the Isildur are not yet applied to it, because else we would not be able to see the lines on it, I would assume. He makes some weird jokes about Navi being a thief. The problem is this is the first scene where we see Narvi and Celebrimbor together in one room. This they haven't established ever. Now they pretend they are kind of best buddies, which in the books it's described that Celebrimbor and Narvi were friends, or best, like, of the dwarves at least, he was his greatest friend. And Celebrimbor has more screen time together with Prince Durin the Fourth than with Narvi. I find it a bit strange, to be honest. They could have done this a bit better. Welcome, Windinust. Let's tip over because his head's so much heavier than the handle. Don't mind me, I just enjoy occasionally knowing random stuff. Yeah, for sure. A normal pickaxe. A different beast. That's something that Halbrand said in season 1 to Galadriel. It's good that Celebrimbor kind of sees through this. I guess he knows that his time is kind of limited. He orchestrated that Adar will come here at some point, so he doesn't have infinite time for the forging of the rings. I think we'll get more scenes that explain what the rings kind of do. And the problem is the YouTube notifications are not that reliable. Yeah, the Numenorian fear comes maybe a bit later into Sauron's life, but I guess since he was already there, I don't know, chat. It's a bit strange. Thanks for the link. I will rejoin in the analysis stream. Okay, see you later then. Maybe just plays with the feelings. Erendil Tour. They put all the names they found in Lord of the Rings. Tour also is mentioned in Lord of the Rings. So Beren, of course, as well. Erendil, of course, as well too. We know a bit of Erendil. We have seen a statue of him a bit. Elrond might have mentioned him here in the show in season 1. It's interesting that he also mentions Numenor. We know that 3 of the, I think, Nazgul, I think it was 3, or was it 4? I think it was 3, were of Numenorian race, as Tolkien writes in the Silmarillion. So 3 Numenorians have to be getting a ring. It can't be Farazon. Like, from a book perspective, it can't be Farazon, though. Even though so British and has no idea how to handle Anatar being so direct. So now Anatar has to kind of find a way to convince him to do different. Look in his face. I'll just make the eye myself. It is there, yeah, the island in the west in front of Aman, the west continent. And some mountains come, and after that there we have a part of the west continent which is called Valinor. And on this island, yeah, there's the tower in the city of Avalone. The white tower of that. And since the oceans aren't bent, in theory, yes, it might be possible to see them. The world is flat at this point. Tolkien wrote on a version where the world was always round, not flat, but abandoned it. And now in the this is also criticized. Suddenly, Pharazôn is king. It's not an elvish name. Curious how they will call him. I assume Ar-Pharazôn then. That's the name for those who use the Adonaic names instead of the Quenya ones, like the faithful kings. Yeah, Aragorn also sings a song about Beren and Luthien in the Fellowship. That happened too quickly, yeah. That's also something nice to say to your son. It's kind of interesting that all their mothers are kind of dead. Like Isildur's and Eärion's mother is also dead. His mother seems to be dead. Miriel also has no mentioned mother there. Only her father's also just died. Yeah. So we get an interesting dialogue between Elendil and Miriel. Never rains in Numenoia. Wish they would show more of the island. Yeah, maybe next season we might see more. Who knows? Maybe he leaves the capital and goes to kind of a vision or so. Goes to the west of Numenor, to Andúnie, where he actually belongs to. His father and the Lord of Andúnie at this time, Amandil. I'm not sure if he will be in the show or if they fuse together. I like that Miriel is so wise here. Yeah, or on a pen and paper RPG group. Tabletop RPG. Also, usually if people create characters, their parents are always dead. I don't know why that is. It's kind of an interesting trope. Here would be, I think, an ad break, chat. Shall we stop? I forgot to ask this time, but shall we stop the stream really quick? If you don't have an ad break, then somebody has an ad break, please say something so we can press the stop button. Okay, somebody has an ad. No ads here. So we just stop it for a moment. Wait till everybody is back here. Should be like a minute or two. I would, yeah, I think It's a bit annoying with this ad breaks, to be fair. I have to admit. Like 2 years ago, we didn't have ad breaks in these episodes. I'm paused. Okay. Yeah, I can just synchronize back. It's currently we see Valandil talking to Elendil, and he explains basically everybody who's faithful to the Queen Regent but stripped his ranks. Yeah, I also like that. That's what I mean with it's kind of wise. Okay, for you it's over. Anybody else in chat who has an ad break or so else, let me please know. We can definitely look into that. It might be another ad break, which I know it's a bit annoying, but I guess that's how it works. Forgot to make like to ask before we started, because I don't know, it's always a bit counterintuitive. But yeah, okay, it seems like I always have to wait a few seconds for chat to be able to answer. But if you have a next expert, just write it in chat when you have an ad break, and we can just wait for a moment. We're not in a hurry here, I think. Okay, so I count down again. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Elendil is not happy to see his daughter. Belzagar seems to be a very nice guy. Here, name Ar-Pharazôn, I think, appears. This miss. Oh, so much like Emma Watson. It's a weird metaphor, considering that Elendil's wife drowned, and yeah, that's her mother, so. I don't know. It was a cool scene, though. And here he tries to follow what Miriel said to him. He has to also struggles a bit to not punch this guy. I really like Valandil. I should respect Elendil more. Yeah, his daughter definitely should. Nah, Kemen. I mean, I like the actor. He does a really good job. He's a very talented actor. We know from like the trailers that Pharazôn also touches the thing. I'm not sure though what he might see in it. It's kind of funny though that it's like, yeah, she uses an elven artifact, and then he uses it himself, of course. We discussed last time, how did the smith though get? Here we see the an interesting detail I never noticed. On the doors, the Isildin are applied on the door now a little bit. You see it glowing there. So the doors are not fully completed. That's why you see the line still. And the analysis stream might do this. He thinks, okay, he closes. Maybe a bit unexcited, considering that Sauron was in Eregion, but okay. Also nice that Eärendil, we talked about him, there's in the background. Here we have the vision. This is the river fish thing might be something related to the later part of the show, because all screenshots we have seen are from the show. All these little flashbacks. We also identified the orcs burning. It was in last episode. These burning entities there. But the orcs burning that where Galadriel shot the arrows to, so they reuse these little clips there. Change the color a bit. Saturation out of it. A bit darker. It's like cheating. In the beginning, she was also more, yeah, maybe let's do the rings. There's the snails. So yeah. They kind of introduce the concept that dwarves get greedy using these rings. $150. Now it falls down and she has to follow it. And of course, it rolls down all the way in this weird cave section right next to the market. And it seems not to be that far away from the market as well. I mean, maybe just Disa doesn't know this place here. Rolled all the way down here. Disa dropped the ball. It's not a bit pun here for this. It makes a sound interesting. She sings and the crystal resonates it. And she hears it through it. So that's very interesting detail. Also, of course, he flexes with her singing power. But like I said, this stone singing thing and the Ring of Power is definitely a cultural shift in the way how dwarf stuff works. And here, yeah, it breaks. It's not a Palantir. Palantirs are basically almost indestructible. Cut to giving out the rings. So we haven't seen how he got the rings. We haven't seen how he put the ring on his finger. That was cut away. And now we don't see how these guys get the rings. Also 7 emissaries, and at the table there are only 5? With Durin 6, so 1 is missing. Kind of strange. Didn't even see how the actors are called. So there are 7 houses of the dwarves. I assume each as an emissary here. In theory, the fire beams, firebeards, and the broad beams, I think, are from the Blue Mountains. But they don't receive the ring yet. And now the mining starts. Who made this limitation? So that was you. Yeah, maybe that's considered rude, but the ambassador also should not just grab a ring. Exactly, out of Aurelia. I like how he just says, yeah, maybe it's a bit exaggerated how much power the rings have over the people, but especially the dwarves are kind of, I wouldn't say immune to it. Like I said, they become a bit more greedy, easier to anger. I think that's what they want to portray here. But yeah, you notice the influence, they have to portray this, so that's completely fine, I think. Great Outer Shire, welcome, nice to see you. Hi guys, sorry I was busy trying the new ChatGPT model. It gave me focus screen name. But yeah, welcome. We're currently 30 minutes into the episode already. And after that there's an analysis stream. Link will be posted in chat in case you're interested in that. Will be not here on this stream, on this channel though, but I start a new stream simply and then there's a new link for it. Yeah. It's an interesting explanation, I think, though, if you think about it. Why he gets greedy, you know? He has this ring and now he is aware of all there is in this mountain, or not all, but a lot of it. And he sees, we haven't taken anything of it. We are so rich, there's so much here. And this kind of is part of the influence of it. We could have a short break. After the stream, after the episode is over, we might discuss it for a moment as well. Then maybe a short break after this or so, yeah. First I thought Anatar is doing some tricks here. Some force power tricks. I like how she says, thank you. The woman that gets up. Interestingly, Celebrimbor is born in Valinor, so in paper he should be able to see the unseen with his eyes. Because he lives at once in both. Let's say sometimes we enjoy it not so much. Sometimes we enjoy it at least a little bit. This episode, though, to be fair, is one of the better ones, so there's that. The stone floor did break when the anvil dropped out on it. I was wondering, yeah, for sure. Sometimes more, sometimes less. I think the biggest problem of the show is definitely the writing, simply. Like everything, the actors are good. Costumes I like. Good cinematography and so on. High production value, good sets. And I feel like those parts also feel a bit more, better in season 2 as well. Season 1 was kind of a disaster in many ways, unfortunately. It was okay, you could also have fun with it, but yeah. So what's interesting here, he says, so Celebrimbor says, I don't want to work on these 9 rings. Then Anatar works on them alone. And now he says, no, when you want to do this, you have to do this, this, and that. So Celebrimbor knows kind of the answer to what they have to do with the alloy. And this would, kind of reduce the time they need for it. If you just would help them. And he almost said the, what you say, almost slipped and said what they have to do. So, is here another break, chat? If somebody has an ad break, please let me know in chat. Half of the mining stuff, that's quite a bit. I mean, he knows that Halbrand is Anatar / he doesn't know he's Sauron, but... It's interesting, though, that Anatar doesn't know. Kind of. In theory, Anatar knows what it needs. Like, the reason why Anatar is doing that, he needs that the elves trust him because he wants the elves to use those rings. It's not only about creating the rings, it's about the elves trusting him and using the rings in the books. Definitely different. Also, Spielcup, nice to see you. Yeah, exactly. But in the show, the elves here in Eregion don't wear those rings. They give them away. So here it's different compared to what we know from the books. The dwarves are too stubborn to be manipulated. That's kind of the thing. I think Sauron doesn't understand the dwarves. The dwarves are different from the classic, from the original children of Ilúvatar, which are elves and men. The dwarves are the adopted children, kind of. And they are different. They are better at resisting the evil, as Tolkien writes, and they can't, as Tolkien wrote, and they can't be reduced to shadows, and they're not even affected, their lifespan is not even affected by the rings. They're just simply working different, or very different. Now we mentioned that she looks like Galadriel for whatever reason. I still kind of like the idea that she is Celebrian and in disguise or so, living in Region. I'm not sure if Celebrian's hair color is ever mentioned. That's in the books, the daughter of Galadriel and Celeborn. Doesn't look like there's a mention of her hair color. Also very nice music here again. Soundtrack's also pretty decent of this. It was a bit creepy. I'm not sure. I hope they don't go into this direction. Yeah, it's a sad scene. They don't tell why does a aqueduct has to build here. Kind of strange in my opinion. The high priest is also here, so he seems to be also Miriel's side, of the faithful side. I mean, he's a priest, so he's revering the Valar. It's too quick. I agree on this. Like this development in Numenor should be just several episodes. They rush it a lot here in this episode, I feel. Yeah, I also really like Valandiel's character. The statue here is, I think, Nienna. That is the Maiden of Tears, one of the Valar. She's associated with wisdom, and she's the sister of Mandos and Irmo. Yeah, and this statue now is destroyed. Kind of interesting scene. We look into this later again. Finally, he punches him. But it's not a good idea, though. Well, it's hard to not want to punch him, kind of. But it's wrong, of course. That's, I guess, the thing. Grima vibes. Some speculate that Kemen might become a Nazgul later. Okay, now Valandir is kind of angry. He uses what Galadriel taught him when they did this sword fighting thing there. So he is now Galadriel, basically, in this regard. Ouch. to use his cards. Yeah, kind of. I find it a bit unfortunate he just turns his back to the enemy, throws the sword next to him. He could have thrown the sword into the water or something. And then this happens. And so unfortunate. We love Valandil. You can't kill all the cool characters. I knew though it's not that I expected this here in this scene. I definitely expected that Valandil might die at some point, simply because, yeah, I don't know. Isildur's son will be called Valandil, so I imagine this happens potentially in memory of his friend, yeah. It's really sad, I agree. Yeah, it was a bit forced, in my opinion. He drops the sword there. That was, I think, the Numenorean section. This is now a very smart move by Anata. I like this section a bit. I kill him for the sake of it, yeah. There needs to be some motivation for Elendil and maybe also for Isildur. I think Elendil saw in him like the replacement Isildur a bit, like his son. This will definitely do something with Elendil here. Blood in the water won't please Ulmo, that's true. I think Hemen does not live to please Ulmo. Don't ever tell your back. How many times do I have to tell you for? Yeah. Now he says that's also spiritual things or things of the mind, whatever. He could try, but daughters or children never listen to their parents, so that's kind of the problem, I guess. No, it wasn't a lie. Yeah, it definitely becomes more radical, for sure. Time and pressure. I do think the third is not wrong here. I still think it's stupid that both called Durin. And yeah, this is something I predicted also, that these two guys come to terms again, and he will be brought back to princehood, or get his status as prince back at some point. And I mean, Durin the Third is not wrong. It was his call to help the elves, to listen to that, in a way. Though he said, well, something is wrong with the rings and Eregion and this Anatar dude, because he doesn't know. He said he knows Elrond, but he clearly doesn't. Now he has to explain this to his wife. But interesting that his father doesn't listen to him. It's a very strange situation. I kind of like it. I'm very curious how this oath here might play a role at some point. Because at some point he becomes king. Does he then have to wear the ring? Or not? Also like I said, I like this manipulation here. Yeah, it has to do with we lied to the king. That made these 7 rings kind of evil. So we have to make rings that redeem them. It's an interesting idea. Not ideal for sure, because like I said in the books, all these rings are made for the elf of Eregion, not for the dwarves or whatever. Puts a lot of pressure on his crew. Very high demand. But yeah, this was an interesting scene though. I don't really understand his reasoning. He said basically he believes they did something wrong creating the 7. Maybe due to I don't know. I guess he knows because he lied to the king for that. He knows like now they have to do something better than they did before, which makes no sense because the best that he could ever do were the 3 rings. I guess the reasoning here is what they want to show. Maybe that's the reasoning why they changed the order of it. The first one he just did. The others then, yeah, he did as well. And while he did the 7, he goes more and more into to madness, into to the manipulational side of Anatar. He falls for it, and this kind of diminishes his ability to create. So the rings he will create now will be even worse, kind of, even though he tries the opposite. And he doesn't see that the reason why those rings have this evil tendency of the dwarves is that there's literally Sauron next to him. Oh, great, Gribo, nice to see you. Is this the episode already? No, I think that's another scene. Elrond isn't still there. That's what Elrond said from the start. Not alone. Oh yeah, the Galadriel scene is also still here. If you wondered what is in this wagon, I think we also predicted or speculated it might be the wagon where Galadriel is in the cage. So there's an alliance, and yeah, here the forging process begins again. Or the 9. There are a lot of things happening here. And that was the end of the episode. Only without all, like, we even skipped this. Only 56 seconds, 56 minutes, not seconds. Relatively short episode. I stopped the timer now. That was basically it. I have like a bit more time. Yeah, the episode was definitely one of the better. It's definitely a strong episode here. The orcs look pretty great, yeah. Like, the costumes in the show, for the most part, look really good. I have to admit, like, how the orcs look especially. That was already the case in the first season, I guess. I know they're orcs, but I think realistically they should know more than exactly one chant. That's a good question that you bring up there. I think you might be right. But I don't know exactly. It's an interesting question, Aristoteles. It's a very interesting question. Should the rings only become corrupt after the creation of the one? Maybe. Because if you think about it, the elves were not allowed to notice that these rings were corrupted. Only when the one ring was there. Still, these rings should have an evil tendency, at least these 16 that Sauron himself touched. They should have like some kind of more evil tendency. I guess all the rings have a kind of an evil thing in Tolkien's world, even the 3. Though, since he didn't touch it, they are not a bit different in their design. It's a bit different for them to some degree. You can actually do some good with those 3 rings. That's of course difficult to explain. I think they kind of discussed this, gave it some time in the early episodes of season 2, which I appreciated. Remember the scenes with Círdan and Elrond discussing the rings. I feel like, though, in Lindon they should have held a council discussing these rings with Círdan, Gil-galad, Galadriel, Elrond, and so on, like the wise, maybe some other elves, discussing some details there. A bit of a missed opportunity, in my opinion, but yeah, that's... At least we have a mini council with Elrond and Círdan, if that makes sense. Yeah, the Adar Galadriel scenes were also really good in season 1. And because the actor changed, I didn't feel that history when they met at the end of that episode. Yeah, kind of. That is true. In a way. Like, the actors are a bit different. You notice this in the play, I think, if you really compare it back to back. But I think he does a really good job of doing this. At the beginning, I thought, okay, he feels like almost like the old actor, but of course there are some difference. The actor for Adar changed, in case people wonder. But yeah, coming back to the question, the elves should not be able to notice that these rings are evil. Still, they must have an evil tendency because Sauron touched them. And if you think about it, when Sauron later has not the one ring, and it's lost, then the elves can use the 3 rings, like in the third age, basically. So in the whole third age, Sauron never has the one ring, and the elves use it. And the 9 rings of men, Sauron at some point gets back to get more power, whatever. But yeah, the 9 rings still do evil, and also the 7 rings, there's still evil going on, because in the books, the Balrog appears in the third age, and there Moria/Khazad-dûm is destroyed. And then it becomes what we know from the Lord of the Rings, this black pit. Moria means black pit. And so you can make an argument, even though, like, the one ring is there, it's not fully active, so it's kind of safe to use the rings. These 9 rings and the 7 rings still have their evil tendency. So I would say, yeah, they are still kind of corrupted, even though the one ring does not exist yet, I would say. But there is less power or strain on those on the mind. So I wouldn't... Or at least... I mean, Frodo... It even said, well, the One Ring is different, I guess. I'm not sure how it is. Like, there's no precedent kind for it, because the 9 never lose their rings, and then a new one gets the ring and becomes a Nazgul or so. It's got quite difficult to predict this. I think, though, that these rings are much, much, much more dangerous when Sauron has the One Ring, but I still think they're dangerous even when Sauron has not the ring, or even when the One Ring does not exist yet. But it's an interesting topic. Yeah, Gandalf is one of the 3 rings, is Gandalf's ring. Círdan's ring is later. Círdan later gives his ring to Gandalf when he appears at the beginning of the Third Age. Yeah, not at the beginning. Like 1,000 years into the Third Age, Gandalf arrives in Mithlond, and then he gives him one of the red ring, Narya, he gets from Círdan. No problem. But at this time, the One Ring is still lost, and they can use the rings for it. But yeah, I definitely can see how you would say, yeah, it feels very different. Yet at the end, they don't feel the history in a way. I can see this. So I feel they at least tried. It's not like they were friends when they left. Last time Galadriel and Adar talked. Is there an episode 6 preview yet? Or do you mean, what do I think will happen in episode 6? There was a preview actually? I didn't know there were previews left. Never watched the complete credits. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but for whatever reason, my Amazon does not want to load the last part of the episode. Yeah, Damrod will show up. Ah, this you mean the general, right? I think the crown will play a role. We have the sea trial. I think that's a general preview. It's not just in episode 6, it's for the... Very interesting, chat. Yeah, transition straight into the interview, right? Is there like another trailer for what happens next time? At least currently I don't see it. Episode 6 promo trailer. "22 hours ago." It's just fighting the undead. Yeah, there were some scenes of like I think at the end of episode 1 you already could see this part of these things. So I've seen that at least. There are definitely some episode 6 stuff is in it for sure, but I think not everything from it is episode 6. Let's do an episode 6 trailer watch along. I'm also curious what next episode, like this episode was Halls of Stone, curious what the next one might be. But yeah, Galadriel being tied up, she talking to Adar. That's something, yeah, I think this promo thing existed after episode 1 already. And that's why we know a few details here and there. Maybe that's a bit cut down, I don't know. But I don't know. Definitely Galadriel will talk to Adar a little bit. There's a scene where she shouts something like, "Oh, that's exactly what Sauron wants to do." So I could imagine that is going to happen. She maybe tries to prevent him from attacking Eregion. I'm not sure if there might be a confrontation between the Dark Wizard and the Stranger. That might also, happen next episode. Hard to tell. Numenor is very difficult to predict now because they made just very huge steps. We know that Elendil will now be brought to prison. They talked about Kerkermeister, the jail dude. So there will something, and Miriel might visit him there. It will be called Udun. Let me see if the next episode names are spoiled already. Not announced yet, at least here in this source. Maybe there is an announcement somewhere I've missed. Yeah, when I go to the end, I get the interview, and there's a small thing there happening. That's definitely something that might happen. I think that Sauron wants Adar to attack Eregion. I'm not sure why though yet. That's one of the things I couldn't figure out yet. I don't have a good theory for this, chat. A Numenorean man sent to exile. That would be interesting, to be honest, but I don't know how they will solve this. There are still a few things that have to happen in the meantime, basically. I'm very curious how they will write this. This will be so tough to write, I think. Like, they have to, from the book perspective, we still have to get the Palantiri out of Numenor. We have to get the White Tree out of Numenor, at least a seedling or whatever you call it from it. It's kind of difficult. Season 1 was episode... Yeah, I think the name Udun appeared in Season 6, yeah. Season 1, Episode 6, yeah. That was the name of that episode. I also thought, wasn't there an episode called Udun already? Well, maybe they have another one. Udun Part 2 or so, whatever. I don't know. Now, we will know in a few days, so very curious. Do you think... that was the Watcher in the water, where Disa found her lost orb, or was it the Balrog? I think it was a Balrog. Yeah, I'm also curious what Pharazôn is going to do. Like, I don't know. The Numenorean plot is just strange. I'm not sure how far they want to push the Numenorean plot. Of course, there's still a lot of things to do. I could imagine, I don't know why though, that, like, in the books, Gil-galad has long ago, before the rings were created, sent message to Numenor and asked for help. And this help is later very important in the war against Sauron attacking Eregion and Ereador and so on. I could imagine that Pharazôn now pushes his ambitions and tries to establish more settlements in Middle-earth. And for those, into establishing those, he might send ships and so on, and then potentially learns about the conflict there going on with Sauron and the orcs, and he might then intervene in some way later. I'm not sure if in this season or if the conflict continues above Season 2, above Eregion, and then he appears again, but maybe for this they have to bring him in place, kind of. So I don't know. Did they tease that they want to go west? I can't remember that, to be honest. But might be, yeah. He has to go west at some point. He wants to go west. Oh yeah, west though is the wrong direction. You need to go east to Middle-earth instead to west. So for Pharazôn, basically they need to establish, well, he's not there yet to go west, so he goes east first a bit, and then goes west or something like that. That's kind of the plot line for Numenor. they need to expand a bit in Middle-earth for this to kind of work. Or they do this completely different. That's also a possibility. It would be interesting or very strange if I mean, maybe Numenor also already intervenes when it comes to Eregion, and then they capture Anatar there basically and bring him to Numenor. You know, and then from there, next season we have the Numenor plot line. I don't know exactly what's going on. The problem is the One Ring isn't yet forged. That's my biggest problem is still, when are they going to forge the One Ring? We need to see that as well. Maybe also they pause Numenor for the time being and we won't see much of it. Maybe just little pieces. I think Numenor might only move Elendil around a little bit. We still have heard that Anarion, his other son, is also on Numenor and seems to be alive. So maybe he visits his son or something. There's a sea trial going on. Not sure what this means exactly, but I think that is something that will be explained in the next couple of episodes when it comes to this. I think maybe Pharazôn pauses a bit. Who knows? Maybe he talks to Elendil or something, or Kemen talks to him again. I don't know. No, it's hard to tell how much of a civil war is going on Numenor. Very hard to tell, chat. I don't know exactly how they will solve this, to be fair. Watch a Balrog hybrid this show, I don't... Needs to protect that, that's true. He also needs to protect Numenor from elf immigrants. That's another thing Pharazôn needs to do. The problem is when they, like, in theory, I could imagine that Adar potentially dies also in Season 2 at some point. Does Sauron then take over Mordor in his stead to establish his army and then provokes Numenor and then they take him prisoner like in the books, or will they change this? Also, in the meantime, we need some development on 9 characters becoming the Nazgul. Very curious who this might be. Some might be in the show already. I'm not sure if... I mean, if Theo is now really the Lord of Pelargir, maybe he also gets the Ring of Power. I don't know. But it would be very strange. It would be such a weird argument for that. It makes literally no sense, but I don't know. I think Theo is, as a leader, not established enough yet. He's also young, not potentially considered a wise man or so. Yeah, when does Sauron enslave the orcs? Like in the books, Sauron establishes or comes to Mordor. Let me just look into Lord of the Rings, Appendix B. Into the timeline. It's very early on. Yeah, Sauron, alarmed by the growing power of the Númenóreans, chooses Mordor as land to make into a stronghold. He begins the building of Barad-dûr. That happens 1,000 years into the Second Age. So 600 years, roundabout, before the 3 Rings of Power are completed in Eregion. So that's quite a few centuries earlier. So he should already... Sauron, when the One Ring is created, Sauron completes Barad-dûr already. So the timeline is just so heavily compressed in this show, it's kind of pointless to try to compare this at this point. Though it's interesting to know how long these time spans stretch in the books in comparison, but for making predictions, it will be very hard, because even the creation process of the Rings of Power is already different. Because here in the show, first the 3 rings, then the 7, then the 9, like in the Ring poem. And in the books, it is first the lesser rings, that we potentially have seen also one already in the show, here with the Elven, with Mirdania. First the lesser rings, then the 16 rings, so the 7 and the 9. I think they were never really separated. Maybe they were, it's hard to tell, to be honest. Because they later, it could also be that the 16 rings of power became later known as the 7 and the 9, because 7 to the dwarves, 9 to men. But yeah, who knows how this exactly works. And then last, he made the 3 rings of power in contrast to the show, because that was his magnum opus, and they changed it a bit. And he made the 3 rings when Sauron was not in Eregion anymore, and as a result he could not touch those rings, and Celebrimbor also changed the design a bit for the 3 rings of power. Will Ar-Pharazôn still marry his cousin, or is Rings of Power avoiding the development? And I'm not sure if he will marry Miriel. That's a good question. They're very different in a way. Maybe Miriel accepts because she thinks with this, maybe this is the plotline for Numenor. Miriel says, okay, I will marry you to kind of further legitimize your claim of the throne and maybe avoid a civil war. And she hoped that due to this, she gets a bit more control over Pharazôn and can kind of protect the, for some time at least, the faithful. You know what I mean? And then maybe the faithful go into the west of Numenor to Andunia or something. And it's more like a diplomatic marriage or something. But I don't know. Currently it seems like nobody is opposing Pharazôn really. The only repercussions against the faithful. So I don't know if that is going to happen. But I could imagine they might go into something like that. Because here in the show, Miriel is clearly like the faithful queen. In the books she's so semi-faithful. Her father was faithful. And yeah, she couldn't stop Pharazôn anyway, I guess. Hard to tell if Miriel will last this season. Maybe not. Maybe she will. Like from a book perspective, she must. She's quite a long time there. So do you think you already met the Witch King? Place your bets. I don't think so. I think Elendil might meet Isildur, yes, but I'm currently betting more on he might meet Anarion. What do you mean with book's perspective? I mean book's perspective, I mean how it's written in the book. So there are often, especially of these events, sometimes 3, 4, 5 versions of this that all contradict each other a little bit. One account says that Celebrimbor had the 9 wisdom when which account though? Rings of Power does seem to have avoided the reason to require a royal wedding. Yeah, so far they definitely did. Yeah, Kemen is a good candidate for like the Witch King. It could be, but currently he is not casting any spells, you know. Question is, when does he learn the Witch King part of his name? Only under Sauron when he is already a servant, or like I imagine that the Witch King needs some power already on his own before he becomes a race. The Dark Wizard would be a candidate, but he's an Easter. It seems it would be too powerful. Like, he's not immortal. Another show I watch about the show, or another stream, says Theo will be the king of the dead. That's an interesting theory as well. The king of the dead also needs to appear. I mean, as soon, like, what has to happen for Theo and the king of the dead theory to work? I think the Númenóreans have to come back to Pelargir, and the Southlands leave into the mountains and live there, become the hillmen of the White Mountains. Then, yeah, 100% Theo will be then maybe the leader of the Oathbreakers. Because that also has to happen, and has to do with Isildur, so that's kind of interesting. It's an interesting theory. I think it's possible. It's not a bad theory, to be honest. I mean, I hope that Theo does not become the king of the dead, but yeah, I don't know. Just occurred to me that we haven't yet been atop the Meneltarma. I hope we'll get that at some point. I also hope that. I fear, though, that they might not go for it for whatever reason. Maybe at the very end. I don't know. Asteroid TV, welcome. Very good episode, honestly. However, the overall arc makes me very confused. However, the overall... Oh, it was the end already. Yeah, Arwen's role in comparison is also small. That they have to kind of be creative there. I think in Peter Jackson's adaptations makes sense, though, to make her role a bit bigger. Because also Aragorn is a very different character compared to the books. No, I meant the show in general. It avoided the books the moment Galadriel jumped into the Sundering Sea. Yeah, that is true as well. But I think that's all we have. We have to to analyze the show to go with this. So chat, we slowly have to prepare to switch streams. We can continue this discussion later. I still have Numenor completely to discuss. We haven't talked about Numenor in the analysis stream. A little bit, but not much. So there will be a bit of talking there. And yeah, do I still have the link up? That's the biggest question. We can discuss a few more minutes. It's not like I have to stop now. But we have to switch to the other stream. And because on YouTube things are a bit different than on Twitch or so. Like on Twitch, for the Twitch people, nothing changes. Let me just see where my link is, chat. "13 minutes we still have till the other stream. I scheduled it roundabout at this time to limit a bit how much we might talk here. So just for people wondering, I'll post the link later again. Don't worry. Let me post it here in chat as well, so people know, and I can just copy paste it from there. Because the Twitch chats are not so busy. Yeah, I also want to see Anarion. I'm very curious what the deal is with this. He was teased in season 1. And maybe he appears, because Isildur is currently not in Numenor, and I don't see him getting there anytime soon. As a result, since now Valandil is also out of order, Elendil needs somebody. So I could imagine he might try to get out of the prison tower, leave the capital as he has seen in his vision. He leaves, what's it called, chat? Armenilos, It's like the capital on Numenor that we often see is a mixture between Armenilos, the capital of Numenor, and Rumena, I think. Yeah, Rumena was the other name, the harbor city in the east. Because we see this little island with a lighthouse on it that is called Tol Uinen according to Tolkien. Chai, welcome, nice to see you. You meet us here at the end of the watch party, post-watch party discussion. I think we need Sauron to be more evil. I mean, we will definitely get that for sure. I would not worry too much about this. I'm just very curious where they go with some details here. Kemen can learn his magic from Sauron. Why not? He can for sure. Maybe when he is on Numenor or something. That's definitely a possibility, by the way. The most important thing is that he is in a moral power hungry, unfriendly person. Yes, that's of course right. But at least for now, he could also be, I don't know, some other Nazgul. Like, I agree, though. I'm also on the boat that he might become one of the Nazgul. But who knows? I mean, there are multiple, I think, ways where they could go with Kemen. They could also, at some point, even go into the direction of something like a redemption arc for him or whatever. There are tons of possibilities with his character. Yes, same with Earian. Very hard to tell where they go. Maybe Earian also becomes a Nazgul. It's never said that all the Nazgul have to be male. Though it's very likely that the Nazgul were all male, to be fair, but in theory, I think you could make a weird argument for that. I think there was a video I made some time ago where I mentioned this. And it's too long ago. I will not be able to follow it. Yeah, I can see that. The captivity of Sauron originally took place long after the War of the Elf and Sauron, so maybe in Season 3. I also think the Numenor stuff will be Season 3 will be Numenor season. Yeah, that's true. In Peter Jackson's adaptation, they look all male. That is true. But in the books, it is, I think, never explicitly said that they are male. I think the closest description we have is the stuff that Frodo sees on the Weathertop. I'm not sure if I find the section that fast, chat. Strider, Knife in the Dark, it should be the chapter. Let's just try to read this here. Immediately, though everything else remained as before, dim and dark, the shapes became terribly clear. He was able to see beneath their black wrappings. There were 5 tall figures, there are only 5 Nazgul, by the way, on the scene, 2 standing on the lip of the dell, 3 advancing. In their white faces burned keen and merciless eyes. Under the mantles were long grey robes. Upon their grey hairs were helms of silver. In their haggard hands were swords of steel. Their eyes fell on him and pierced him as they rushed towards him. Desperate, he drew his own sword, and it seemed to him that it flickered red as if it was firebrand. 2 of the figures halted. The third was taller than the others. His hair was long and gleaming. Here's his hair. So the Witch King is definitely male. And on his helm was a crown. In one hand he held a long sword, in the other a knife. Both knife and the hand that held it glowed white with pale light. Not white, with pale light. He sprang forward and bore down on Frodo. At this moment, Frodo threw himself forward on the ground, and he heard himself crying aloud, "O Elbereth Gilthoniel!" That's the name of the Valar who made the stars, and is revered by the elves. At the same time he struck at the feet of his enemy. A shrill cry rang out in the night, and he felt pain like a dart of poisoned ice pierce his left shoulder. Even as he swooned, he caught, as through a swirling mist, a glimpse of Striders leaping out in the darkness with a flaming brand of wood in either hand. With a last effort, Frodo dropping his sword, slipping the ring from his finger, and closed his right hand tight upon it. Darkness around the heart, as Chris tells the story. Well, it was not well read. Hers, okay. It's never made explicit exactly. There's like here in this text, for example, it's we only have 5, so 4 Nazgul are missing anyway. But it says Tolkien talks about 5 tall figures. It doesn't say it tall 5 men or something. You know, May makes more sense, of course. I agree with you with this. But interestingly, it's not clear, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. There could be a better quote that kind of disproves me here. But I think when I looked into this issue at some point in the past, I noticed, yeah, in theory, it's, I think, never explicitly stated. Only for, it seems, the Witch King here would interpret his hair was long. So it sounds like he's a man. I think Tolkien didn't think that you could interpret it this way. I'm not saying that it was Tolkien's intention that maybe there were female Nazgul, but I don't think that's the case. But let's say, what do you call it, devil's advocate could say, well, it's not clear, so maybe if you make an adaptation, you can interpret in this direction. We have to end the stream now here, chat, because the other stream starts very soon. Welcome, Priscilla. Nice to see you here. So for all the people wondering, what is going on, Chris? We end the stream after only 2 hours? What's wrong with you? We will continue the stream here on the link I post now in chat multiple times. So I will close the stream here down and maybe, I don't know, get something to drink, make a tea or so. Give me 5 minutes. Then I start the other stream. And then we continue and we look into this episode in the parts we have not covered last stream. We already started the analysis of episode 5 already. So this is part 2 of the analysis. It's a bit strange, but sometimes 6-7 hours are not enough to discuss an episode. I was just tired at the evening. I couldn't focus well. So I said, okay, let's continue next time. Eat something healthy like a Milka. Maybe not. Peter Jackson nailed this scene, I would agree. The Shadow World wasn't as haunting, but the Nazgul were. Yeah, for sure. Quick break, yeah, exactly. So we here on my timer of the other screen, I have 3 minutes. I said I scheduled it for 8:30, so 20:35, something like that. That's in 3 minutes on my clock. So yeah, I give you maybe here the end screen. I still don't have updated the credits, chat. I'm so sorry for the subscribers here. So yeah, I give you a shout out still to all the supporters here. We have quite a few new ones. Also a lot of people were very generous last stream and so on. Much appreciate. It's Chris minutes anyway. A Chris minute is different from a normal minute. Usually it's much longer. Actually, it's always longer. It could be days. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this I hope this is the right link, but it should be. This is either just click here on my channel. There's a stream scheduled that will be up, then will be live. Then we will continue there and discuss the rest of the episode. We still have Numenor to discuss, so there's that. I can give you the right people here the shout out. Schnark, I think, is not sure if he's on the list, but yeah, we have Joe's Corner, Spielkalb von Sparta, straight out of the Shire is also shout outs to you. You got to like the biggest shout outs in Sash. The biggest shout out is of course to Reflective Rambling, who gifted multiple subs here last time. It was very generous of so much appreciated. And where's my end screen? Here it is. So I would say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this watch party. We discuss, if you want to learn more about episode 5, there's more content here on this channel. Might be linked later here also in the description. And for those who stop now, see you later. Fantastic rest of the day. For the others, see you in a moment. As said, it continues here, and I hope I give me a moment to set this up. I need to figure it out, but we will make it. So see you in a moment.